Okay, today we're going to talk about Betfury Dividend and Dividend Pool and how they do it because I get a lot of questions. I covered this in another video, but it was part of a bigger video. So I'm going to just try to cover it a little bit more in depth here and hopefully clear up any questions because it is very clear to me that people are unaware of how divs work in the DApp space, and particularly what makes the dividend payouts with Betfury a good bit unique. And it has to do with, I think it's a bit marketing. I think there's two reasons they do it this way. I think one is marketing and creating awareness. And I think the other reason they do it this way is because it creates a much more smoother dividend payout. I think that's why. But I also think that there's a good shot we see some really enormous dividend payouts because of the mechanics of what they do. So let's just come over here to dividends, by the way. So, by the way, I gotta tell you, we're at 4.6 million. I mean, that's just nuts. In the dividend pool with 5 hours to go, that's just crazy. I'll be honest with you. I did not expect it to go that high. I just didn't. Not in the first couple of days. I didn't know if it'd break 1 million in the first couple of days. That's just nuts. So let's talk about this for a minute. Now, I gotta tell you, just some sad news for me. I moved some BTC over to KuCoin, as I mentioned in my last video, and it was a new account, and I forgot my stupid trading ID to transfer BTC to. I was going to trade BTC for TRX and come over here. Well, I ended up having to do KYC, so now they're saying it's going to take 1 to 3 days for that to clear, which is annoying because I wanted to be wrapped up by today as far as mining was concerned. And maybe I should explain what mining is. I'll do that towards the end of the video because some people are like, I got several comments. It's amazing that people are watching videos about this stuff and they just don't know. It just goes to show you that that when it comes to cryptocurrency, education is always paramount, always paramount, always paramount. So I'll explain, let me make a note of that. I'll explain mining towards the end, mining versus gambling. And I've done both, but I'll explain what the difference is. So with Betfury, the dividends, you'll see that right now it's saying that I'm going to get 66 Tron. So someone commented, they were like, you know, I gambled, I got about 8,000 tokens frozen, but my divs keep going down and keep going down and keep going down. That's because of dilution. This particular token is extremely cheap to mine. You only have to wager 21 Tron to get one token. Whereas some other platforms, you have to wager 600 or 1,200 before you get one token. So it's very cheap to mine. However, what that also means is you're going to get diluted a good bit faster. Now they have some mechanisms in place to help prevent dilution. They have an auction where you can bet tokens and burn. I covered that in the last video. If you didn't go watch my last video, I'll link it above here and you can go watch the last video. However, and as time goes on and more tokens are actually mined, there's more tokens mined because there's only, I don't know, I forget how many tokens there are. There's so many tokens. It's a lot. But maybe it's like 100 billion tokens or whatever. But as we go into later and later stages, the token price starts to go up. There's more tokens in circulation. You will still get diluted. It will just happen a little bit slower. And ultimately, you're going to have a small piece of a really big pie. But it's part of the reason in getting in early is because even though you're getting diluted, you're going to earn a higher percentage on your tokens early on than you will later as you continue to get diluted. Now, how do you prevent dilution? Well, the only way to prevent dilution is to keep playing. And if you're mining, you typically want to stop at some point so you can kind of hopefully to get partial or all of your investment back and then potentially make some profit and hopefully a lot of profit. I hope we make a ton of profit. And I think we may. We'll have to see. I still want to do a video. I told you in my last video I was going to do a video where I was going to cover some of the good and the bad of the platform. I still want to make that video. I just thought this dividend video was a lot more important. So it's normal to expect to see divs dilute to some degree. However, here's what else is interesting about this platform. We will probably start to see this dividend pool grow to enormous sizes, most likely. I said in my last video I thought we may see 100 million dividend pool, and I absolutely believe that we may see 100 million dividend pool because of the way they pay this out. So this 66 Tron is what I'm going to get at the end of the payout. That's what I'm going to get. However, that 66 Tron is only going to be my portion, they only do a 7% payout. Where was that? That's covered somewhere. I don't see it, but I covered it previously in the last video. I found it on here somewhere. They only pay out 7% of the dividend pool, which means, let's just say that they get to they're probably going to pass 5 million, but let's say they get to 5 million Tron, just to show you. If they get to 5 million Tron, then 5 million, yep, times 0.07, they're only going to pay out 350,000. They're only going to pay out 350,000. That's it. That's it. So this 66 Tron is basically coming out of that 350,000. What does that mean? That means when this dividend pool, after the payout, there'll be, assuming there's 5 million in here, 5 million minus the new dividend pool is going to start at 4.6 million. So let's just say, for whatever reason, the next dividend payout, the pool only grows by 3 million. So that means it'll be plus this 4.6 million plus another 3 million, which actually means less people are playing. That's one of the reasons they do this. It will look like a 7.6 million dividend pool. So the reason they do this is because it's not extremely obvious that less people are playing. It just looks like when you log back in, wow, it's almost doubled in size again, 7.6 million, of which you're going to get paid 7% of that. So instead of 350,000, you're going to get your share of 535,000 Tron. I hope you see how that's working. And it's continuing to grow like that. So what should happen is we should see, until people really start, slow down playing. And Rocket Games grew a lot. If you remember that DApp, it grew a lot. So it's possible we should see this grow. I don't know, we may see it keep growing for the next 5 days, next 10 days, next 30 days. It's hard to say. But here's my recommendation if you're mining, not financial advice. I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Everything is risky in this space. So I believe go in heavy, go in hard. If you want to put 1,000 Tron, 10,000 Tron, 100,000 Tron, 1,000,000 Tron, whatever you're doing, whatever your allocation is, then I recommend going fast and heavy in the first day or two. Try to do it before the end of this mining, because here's what happens. This is going to go up to 22. That means that there's an increase of almost 5%. That's 5% less you're going to get paid out, because it's going to cost about 5% more. I know it looks like it's just 1 Tron, but that's almost 5% increase in the price right there, which means a 5% decrease in your total returns. So I recommend mining hard and fast, as quick as you can, and then stop and just collect. That's if you're strictly mining. Now, if you're gaming and you're gambling, as long as you're not breaking any laws, look, there's a lot of fun reasons to gamble and play here. They've got a lot of great features. Just to show you, you come here, they got cash back. You start at 3% cash back and it goes on. They got daily tasks. I did some of these yesterday. These are fun, kind of easy way to earn some Tron. They got the rank system. Cashback and rank system is the coolest. You start out getting 3%, 2% cash back, then it goes to 4, then it goes to 6, then it goes to 8, then it goes to 10, and that's based on your losses, against your losses. So if you're a gambler and you like to play, I mean, this is awesome. Look, it goes all the way up to 25% cash back, and then every time you hit a new rank, you get a bonus. So I had a 100 Tron bonus here. It goes up to 500 Tron, 1,000. Look at this, all the way up to 1 million Tron bonus. That's nuts. And now you have to wager, not bet or lose. You just wager 5 million or 5 billion Tron. That's a lot. But over the course of the lifetime, provided this stays up for weeks, months, or years, there's a lot of people that may hit that 5 billion. I showed yesterday there was a guy that was betting 60,000 Tron per bet. Ain't no telling where he's at on this list. I mean, he may be way up here already. But they have a lot of all the websites that I've seen, that cater to the player. Betfury does a good job of catering to the player, assuming they're going to get these other games out soon. And see, I think that's what may help us. Those of us that are mining the token, and I'll explain mining a little more in depth here in a second, but those of us that are mining the token, I think that as soon as they bring out the slots, I think we're going to see some more players come on board. Then they'll bring out table games, live casino. So there's a lot of stuff that may keep players playing. The miners may slow down, but players will keep playing. Now, so how do you mine? Okay, so since you can't buy this token on an exchange, the way that it works, just to be clear, is you play the games. But you play the games, and someone said, isn't that gambling? No. Gambling is expecting to win. Playing a game expecting to win. The whole purpose in mining is you play the game in a way where you have a 5% chance of winning. I'm sorry, a 5% chance of losing, 95% chance of winning. I always recommend that you put this to 1, maybe 2% of your bankroll, and then auto roll, whatever it is. If your bankrolls, 100,000 Tron, then maybe you put it at 1,000. Obviously don't have that much, I can put it at 1,000. But you put it at 1,000 and you autoplay. You're going to lose, but the whole goal is for your 100,000 Tron, if that's what you want to, if you want to spend 100,000 Tron in tokens, then the whole goal is to pay as little as possible. So you have to, there's two things that allow you to play as little as possible. You have to get a large number of bets to make certain that the statistics work in your favor. You need a large, hundreds of bets to make sure the statistics work in your favor. Because anyone can get unlucky and pay more than they should. And how do you know you pay more than you should? Well, depending on the house edge, and someone can put in the comments how much. Look at this. Players are just playing like crazy. That is nuts. Look at this. 30,000, 30,000, and he's betting a 2x multiplier on 30,000. And that's just crazy. Great enough. And he's literally gambling. He literally is gambling. That's nuts. That's just nuts. Oh no, he's mining. He's mining. He should be mining, I think. Is it the same guys or anyone else? Same guy. He's bet a ton. When was his last bet? Did he play today? Yeah, he played. Looks like he played last night, in the middle of the night, I think. That's crazy. Go to all bets. They're just killing it right now. Okay, so here's that auction I was telling you about where they're burning tokens. That's very good for miners, by the way, because miners prefer not to play this. Let the tokens burn. It decreases the supply, helps slow down or prevent dilution in the long term. This, by the way, this jackpot keeps growing. This is going to be huge for players as well because people will play just to play for that jackpot. So that's really good. Now let's just say, go back to what's the cost of the token. So there's about a 2% house edge, I believe. So if there's a 2% house edge and it costs currently, that's not dividend. There's a 2% house edge. Here we go. All right, 2% house edge times that's 4.4 Tron is what it should cost you per token if there's a 2% house edge. Now, maybe a 3% house edge. I'm not sure what the house edge is. However, if you get lucky in the short term, you could pay less. If you get unlucky, you're going to pay more for those tokens. So the goal is to even out the luck. So the way you even out the luck is you make a lot of bets. You have to make a lot of small bets. So mining is basically, it's essentially, look at it as buying from the game at the minimum possible price. So you're not over here trying to win the game. You're mining. You turn it all the way up. You roll turn it all the way up. You roll under. You roll under. You set it to, you set your bet 1 to 2%. Then you turn it to auto. You hit bet. You just let it run. and you know that, you know, when it runs out, you hope to have as many tokens as possible for the cheapest possible price. And what's going to determine the price is basically going to be the house edge and the number of bets that you made, and you got to make enough bets to basically not to, so luck doesn't play a factor. That's the bottom line. Now, there's a lot of people that mix in gambling and mining, et cetera, et cetera. But mining is doing your best based on statistics, doing your best to remove luck based on statistics to get the tokens as cheap as possible. Then you just freeze the tokens. Miners also should go in heavy, hard, early, and stop. And by the way, don't expect this to be a for sure thing. Betfury could disappear tomorrow. There are some things that I don't love about Betfury. I will talk about that. If you're mining Betfury, if you want to mine Betfury, I'll put a link in the description. I recommend that you mine it now as quickly as possible if you want to mine it, but just be careful. I mean, it's a risky space. There's no guarantee that this business is going to be around next week, tomorrow. We don't know. We have no way of knowing this. I hope that it's a long-term gaming player in the Tron space. I absolutely hope that, obviously, and I'm very biased. I have tokens and I wanted to get a lot more. Now I'm probably not going to get as many. I'm really hoping that KYC goes through today. If it goes through today, I'll definitely mine some more and may mine some overnight. But thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about how the dividends work, let me just explain this. Sorry, let me just make this analogy one more time. I explained this in my other video. Someone said it was helpful. So here's what's going to happen to the actual player from day to day. The player pool is going to go up and down. There may be, 5 million, put into the player pool. There may be 2 million, there may be 3 million, there may be 10 million, there may be 2 million. It's going to go up and down like this. In theory, you hope that it works its way up. But the dividend payouts, and let's just say it slows way down for some reason, and it just kind of, drops off eventually. Eventually, it will drop off. But once the miners leave, then it's just the players, and the volume of play, the volume of profits, the amount of dividends goes way down. But here's what happens to the dividend pool. The dividend pool dividend payouts, not the pool, the payouts. This is the dividend pool day to day. But the dividends should continue to go up, and they may go up quite a bit. They'll drop off too, but they'll drop off far later than the actual daily dividend pool. And the reason they'll drop off later is because, keep in mind, whatever's in the dividend pool, if all of a sudden there was 10 million Tron in that dividend pool and nobody played ever again, they still are going to pay out that 10 million Tron. They're just going to pay it out at 7% per day of the 10 million, and you're going to get your share of that based off how many tokens you have. That means payouts will last, solid payouts, high payouts will last a few days, a few weeks longer than the actual player pool volume. I hope you understand that. And hopefully my calculations explain that to you. But if you have any questions, by all means, put them down in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll do my best to answer any questions. Not that I'm an expert in this space, because I'm not. This just isn't my first rodeo. I've done this a few times now already. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. This channel is growing like gangbusters. It is so exciting to watch. That means we're making a difference here on this channel. That means we're educating people on this channel. People are learning. People are getting learning about crypto. People are getting involved with cryptocurrency. And I think that is freaking phenomenal. You know what else is interesting? Every time that I make a video about Tron, the Tron haters out there like to say that Tron's not going up in value or people aren't getting involved. I just saw some video that said something about how less people were supposedly getting into Tron, et cetera, et cetera. What's amazing is some of my very best videos, my best performing videos on this entire channel are videos that talk about the CryptoTab browser and videos that talk about Tron. Anytime that I talk about a specific Tron video, like Tron DApp, anything specifically about Tron, then I seem to get a lot more views than any other channel. If that doesn't tell you something, and I mean far more, meaning that the algorithm is showing it, the YouTube algorithm is showing it to people, and some of my highest subscriber videos are Tron videos, which means people are subscribing to this channel because they want to learn more about Tron. So I'm going to make certain that I keep sprinkling in some basic education stuff related to not just cryptocurrency in general, but Tron as well. So I appreciate your support on this channel. Let's continue to grow this channel. please hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and let me know down in the comments if you have any questions related to Betfury. And let me know if this has been helpful to you, because I want to know that I'm doing something to serve the community. So if this has been helpful, please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.